morning students, I am Dr. Harsh. Today we are going to discuss femur. So femur is the thickest and longest bone of the body, right? It lies in the thigh, as we all know. So it is the thickest bone of the body. Now let's first discuss its ends, its borders and surfaces to know its anatomical position, right? So it has two ends, upper end, shaft and lower end. This bone actually corresponds to the humerus of the upper limb. As it has head, likewise humerus, it has shaft and lower end that is comparable with the humerus of the upper limb, right? So it has head, so obviously head will be directed medially, right? Which will be fitting into the acetabulum of the hip bone or pelvic bone, which we already discussed in your previous lectures, right? So upper end, this is upper end, shaft and lower end. First we discuss the upper end. So upper end has head, neck, greater trochanter, lesser trochanter, right? Upper end has head, this one is neck part, this is greater trochanter, this is lesser trochanter. So first, head has a pit called fovea, where lies the ligament called ligament of head of femur, or it is also called ligamentum teres or round ligament. So this is a viva point of question. Tell me the structures or the ligamentum teres or round ligament present in the body. One is at the head of the femur. Second, we have learned the ligamentum teres or round ligament in the liver. Third one we have studied in the uterus. 3 I already told. Rest you people will tell. I will tell you in the other classes. So 3 we have already finished. Right? Ligamentum teres lies in the fovea of the head. Right? So in between the greater trochanter and lesser trochanter, there is a line called intercondylar line, right? Posteriorly, there is a ridge called intercondylar ridge, right? So greater trochanter has anterior surface, lateral and medial surfaces, and one pit. This one is a pit, right? So it has anterior surface, lateral surface and medial surface. So let's first I will describe you its position. Then we will understand more clearly about the surfaces of this lesser trochanter and greater trochanter. This lies medially, right? Lower end is more expandable and lies in the lower part, right? And so if the lower end, we hold it in this position. We hold it on the finger, so that when we hold it on the finger, the upper end lies laterally and the lower end comes medially, right? This is its anatomical position. We hold the neck of the femur on our index finger and it comes in its anatomical position. So the lower end comes medially than the upper end. Why? Because the pelvis is wider, so upper end is towards lateral side as compared to the medial one. So this is its anatomical position. So this bone is of which side? Left side, right? Head should be directed medially, anterior surface is convex, lower end is expanded, right? So the surfaces and borders of this greater trochanter are anterior surface, lateral and medial, and it has one pit, right? One apex. Now lesser trochanter similarly has a apex, right? So this is intertrochanteric line, this is intertrochanteric groove. The intertrochanteric line continues as the spiral line. See, this is a spiral line which continues posteriorly and meets the gluteal tuberosity, right? Continues posteriorly and meets the linea aspera, right? So this is intertrochanteric line which continues as a spiral line. Yes. Here is a spiral line. In humerus we studied the radial groove and radial line, right? Now come to the shaft. Shaft has three borders and 4 surfaces in upper parts and 3 surfaces in middle part. Why? I will tell you. So it has medial and lateral border which is somewhat rounded and one posterior border. See, the posterior border is like a line which has 2 lips. It has a special name called linea aspera, right? So linea aspera is nothing but the posterior border. This is lateral border. Towards the head side, this is a medial border. So 3 borders finished: medial border, lateral border and posterior one is the linea aspera, right? Now, so if we have 3 borders, the surfaces are anterior surface in between the medial and lateral border, this one is the medial surface, right? And this one is the lateral surface. So in the middle 1/3, the linea aspera is very thin, while in upper parts it is expanded, right? So here it is joined in the middle part, here it is expanded into medial and lateral supracondylar lines, which are also present in humerus, if you people remember, medial and lateral supracondylar line. So in upper and lower 1/3, it has one more additional surface, posterior surface. In upper 1/3, it has additional surface called posterior surface, and in lower 1/3, it has additional surface called popliteal surface, right? So 4 surfaces, but again we have 4 borders: medial, lateral, then we have linea aspera, and the lateral lip of the lateral line of the gluteal tuberosity. So these are the 4 borders of upper half. Similarly, 4 borders are present here in the upper lower half: medial and lateral, and 2 supracondylar lines, medial and lateral supracondylar lines. So borders and surfaces of both upper 1/3, middle 1/3 and lower 1/3 are different, because the linea aspera is joined in middle, but it is spread out and fanned out in upper 1/3 and lower 1/3. So it has additional surface, posterior and popliteal surface, in upper and lower parts respectively, right? So this is all about the general features of the shaft. Now lower part. So lower part, we have lateral condyle, we have medial condyle. Just likewise in humerus, we have lateral condyle. Lateral condyle is more and extensive than the medial condyle. So on the lateral and medial condyle, we have epicondyles, right? Medial and lateral epicondyles, right? So on the, let's see, on the medial condyle, we have posterior superior part of the medial condyle, we have a tubercle. This is condyle and this is epicondyle. On the posterior superior aspect of the medial epicondyle, towards the medial side, we have adductor tubercle. As I already discussed in my previous class, adductor magnus extend up to adductor tubercle, right? Hamstring muscles, right? So ischial part of the adductor magnus has insertion of the adductor tubercle, which is nothing but projection posterior superior to medial epicondyle. So on the lateral side, lateral epicondyle, below it has a groove which is called popliteal groove, which has insertion of the popliteus, right? In between both the condyle is the condylar notch. So this is a condylar notch, right? So this is all about the general features. Now I will tell you the muscles attachment. So let's start with I have already discussed hand phobia. Phobia is ligamentum teres or round ligament. Other structures, round ligament or ligament teres, where present is number 1 is liver and number 2 is uterus, right? Then we have discussed it has greater trochanter. So gluteus minimus, it is attached on the lateral surface and on the lateral part of the anterior surface, rough lateral part of this one is the anterior surface, this is the rough part lateral side. So gluteus minimus is attached here, right, on the lateral part of the anterior surface. Gluteus minimus, medius is attached on the lateral surface. So minimus and medius are attached here. So onto the medial surface we have 2 gemelli and obturator internus with 2 gemelli are attached on the medial surface. Then we have one more fossa present here, this. So obturator externus is attached here. Insertion obturator internus muscle attachment is on this fossa. So externus is in the fossa, internus along with gemella is on the medial surface, right? Now come to the lesser trochanter. Piriformis is attached on the tip of the piriformis is attached on the tip of the greater trochanter, and here we have iliacus on the apex of the lesser trochanter and psoas major below it, right? So ilio psoas major has a common tendon because they have origin very approximate on the lesser trochanter, right? So this is intertrochanteric crest and this is intertrochanteric line which continues as a spiral line. So on the intertrochanteric, I'll discuss here. On the upper part of this line, upper part of the line lies the vastus medialis attachment, and below we have vastus medialis, right? Vastus medialis is attached or originated from the lower part of the line, and upper part of the line has attachment to the vastus lateralis, right? Lateralis above, medialis below, right? So vastus medialis and vastus lateralis. Medialis on the lower part of the intertrochanteric line and lateralis on the upper part of intertrochanteric line. Note that intertrochanteric line on the anterior surface, crest is on the posterior surface, right? Now, so we have finished vastus medialis and lateralis. Which muscle is left? Vastus intermedius. So vastus intermedius is present on the anterolateral aspect, anterior part and lateral part of the upper 3/4 of the shaft of humor. So these three muscles, vastus medialis, lateralis and intermedius, are finished, right? Now we will discuss the next muscles. Posterior surface and medial surface and our medial surface and our posterior surface mostly. It is bare, no muscle attachment, except for a slight portion of medial head of the gastrocnemius, which is extend onto the medial part of this popliteal surface, right? Now